FSUFootball.com. Excited about that. By the way, on Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're well. Good Friday to all of you. Always appreciate you being here. I'm Jeff. That is Tom. Director Matthew in the house. Man, I want to start with that, and I'll go back to the Noles here in a second. But what a great day yesterday. Thanks to everybody who came out to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Ran into several of you. More were coming in as I had to go. But I tell you what, I really appreciate that. It was a good time just being around folks who like baseball. And, you know, the Vegas Wall, the gazillion televisions they have at Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, it's perfectly suited for it. Those hot dogs were delicious.
They were.
Delicious. I said to Bill, what'd you do? Like, hot dogs can only be so good. They're hot dogs, but they were delicious. Perfect.
They've had some good ones over the years. Opening day has been a nearly 10-year tradition at
awesome.
Corner Pocket for us.
Mm-hmm.
And these were by far the best hot dogs they've had. I mean, they were outstanding.
You know how sometimes when you're trying to figure out a problem and there are a lot of different options, a lot of solutions, and you're not sure, like, okay, well, should we go all in on this one? I like this one the best, but I'm worried that the unintended consequences are going to be too big in this regard. And, you know, this other way, we might not be solving the problem at all. This could be half measures. I'm not sure. Well, baseball kind of confronted that this offseason in a way that everybody wondered, you know, how would it work? You're gonna go ahead and institute this now? You're going to do this thing? We're going to see it in the spring training, and it's going to be a nightmare for the first week. And the players were pissed, and everybody was, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. Look at this. We got games being won and lost because of a violation of the pitch clock or the batter not being ready and all this. And baseball kept saying, well, settle down. The spring training games don't count. Don't worry about it. We'll get it worked out. We'll figure out the right formula. But baseball usually kind of screws it up. They kind of pick the wrong option to remedy the problem, but they got it 100% right. This is great for us as consumers. It's just the amount of time necessary to enjoy the leisurely game of baseball. You don't want to lose that. You don't want it to become frenetic. You want this to be a leisurely game. And it is. You still can talk to your buddy. You still have time to comment. It's 15 seconds between pitches with nobody on base, 20 when they're on base. It's perfect.
That makes a big difference.
It does.
20 is a nice amount of breathing room for those situations. And then the foul balls, obviously, you're afforded a couple extra seconds before they start the clock. It's just every little nuance of it seems to be perfectly timed.
I was blown away. There's so many things that it's not just the minutes shaved, it's the pace of play. So the average game, if you want to know, yesterday, I jotted all these things down, on opening day was 2 hours and 46 minutes. Perfect. We're done here. That is absolutely perfect. 2 hours and 46 minutes. That's 20 minutes on average, faster than the games a year ago.
And there were a ton of runs. Like, for example, the Baltimore-Boston game.
3 hours and 10 minutes.
20 runs, and it's 3 hours. That's perfect.
These numbers are amazing, man. I went and specifically looked these up this morning over coffee because I knew it would put a smile on my face. I was like, this is going to be great. I got Bryce to school, dropped him off at school, came back from dropping him off, sat down and went, here we go. Let's get this. Let's figure out what these numbers are. Over a really good cup of Joe today, Tom. I don't know what it was. Just something today was good.
Was it hot dog water from the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill?
No. So 9 of the 15 games were less than 3 hours. 9 of the 15 that were played were less than 3 hours. The fastest game was between Tampa Bay and Detroit. You could get nitpicky. That game was 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 37 seconds. All right. 2 hours, 13 minutes, by the way. You go to a 1 o'clock game, you're home by 3:45. Okay. That's doing some things. The other game, Cleveland and Seattle, 2 hours and 14 minutes. So those two were basically tied for the two shortest games. Read this stat. How many 9-inning games in 2022 lasted 2 hours and 14 minutes or less?
7.
9. That's a good guess, by the way. 9 9-inning games last year that moved that fast. 2 hours and 14 minutes last year. 9. What are you mad? You mad you missed the guess?
Yeah, I was going to say 9, and I pivoted to 7. I was talking to the director here. I'm like, damn it, I wanted to be accused of looking up the answer again. 2 days in a row. There
were 21 stolen bases on Thursday. That's more than the first 3 days of the 2022 season combined. So they wanted guys to get moving. They're moving. They're on pace. Day one, we love to do this with home runs. They're on pace for a 35% increase in stolen bases year over year. I believe that. It could get higher than that now that people know they can do it. Only 3 guys were thrown out yesterday. 3!
Yeah. The 21 successful stolen bases are the most on an opening day since, do you have that number? This one I saw, 1907. 1907?
That's amazing.
115 years. 16 years.
Going back, by the way, you mentioned this. This is true. Of the 3 games, the few games that did go over 3 hours,
St. Louis, Toronto had to be one of them.
Boston and Baltimore was 3 hours and 10 minutes. That game featured 26 hits, 2 home runs, 2 triples, 5 stolen bases, and a runner in scoring position in 6 consecutive innings.
Yes, and managing editor of Warchant.com swearing at his closer as he's listening to it on the radio while watching football practice.
That is so good. Yeah, they tried to choke that away.
He celebrated it in a reasonable fashion, but I said, and the Orioles win the pennant? Because he's like, okay, all right. Because they nearly blew a huge lead, did Baltimore.
They tried, but they did. They won the game. And if you stayed up last night to watch the end of the Seattle game, or if you watched Anaheim and Shohei Ohtani.
Ohtani. Yeah.
So Ohtani does what he does, and why we continue to talk about him as a player the likes of which we have never seen. He had the fastest pitch last night of anybody who pitched, and he had the hardest hit ball last night of anybody who hit a baseball.
Was it the single?
It was the single.
Yeah, the 112.
112 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So, and then the Angels were the Angels. They blew the game. Because it's what they do.
It's one step closer.
It's what they do.
Blue pinstripes, baby.
It was just incredible. That was a really good day for Major League Baseball. You didn't even have to be a fan. You could just decide, hey, I'll tune in. It's opening day. Hope springs eternal. Everybody's optimistic on opening day, even if they have the reality that hits them across the face that their team stinks. Like my team. They won yesterday. We're in first place. Still 5-4. Great game. Great game against the Reds. Fun game to watch. Well played. O'Neal Cruz hit a missile out of the park because that
was O'Neal Cruz. I saw that.
Yeah, it was. That's what he does. And I got to enjoy it while I can because he'll be a Yankee or a Met or a Dodger soon enough. But he is incredible.
Unless Bob Nutting dies,
which we can all hope for. Maybe over Easter weekend.
Email being typed up right now.
It'd be great. So that's
wait a minute, what? I didn't catch that.
So it'd be awesome. But so at
his ownership will be over by Easter. Trust me.
It'd be great.
Trust me. It'll be done by Easter.
But man, that was really well done. That was really well. And it culminated with greatness at the end of the night because those games were fun. I saw something. Go ahead.
Even Bally Sports, which is bankrupt, did something good. That little animation of where the clock is in between first, second, and third base is smooth.
It is not bad.
That.
I liked it too.
For the worst graphic in sports that they have on the bottom line, that was nice.
So it's very easy for all of us to just be cynical all the time because there's a lot to be cynical about. Your fellow human beings are a good place to start. But you have to catch yourself not to be cynical, or when things aren't screwed up, when things are done right and decisions are made that turn out to be good ones and executed properly, and all these things happen at once, they bombard you with good.
Seeing eye singles through the right side for a left-handed hitter?
Yes.
Hey, buddy.
When the bombardment of goodness happens, you pinch yourself because you're like, what? Something terrible. I'm missing something. There's no way everything that could go right to enhance the enjoyment of baseball in this country did in one fell swoop. But it happened with sorry-ass Rob Manfred. It happened. This is stunning, the turn of events. Everything about baseball yesterday was fantastic.
And wait till we get robot umps on top of it. It's going to be the greatest game ever.
It was unreal. Love it. Love everything about it. Results aside, of course, I'm happy my team won, your team won, Phillies lost, but that's all right. These things happen.
Blew a large lead.
Yeah, they did.
They took care of Ticket to Beer too.
Ticket to Beer.
The one thing that I thought was different and will take some serious getting used to, and it's not necessarily positive, was driving over to football practice yesterday. I was listening to the Mets Marlins broadcast, and radio broadcasts are not. You could almost get away with a one-man booth at this point because of the rapid fire nature. This back and forth between the analyst and the play-by-play guy is very rushed, and you can hear it. And maybe these guys in the booth will get used to it.
They'll
as
have
time
to
goes
adjust.
along.
Yeah.
But you can feel the trepidation. I had the Marlins broadcast on. You could feel the trepidation in, I need to get out. It's like, oh, well, that was a good pitch on the outside corner. All right, the 2-1.
Make your point and get the hell up out of here.
It's very rapid fire. It's not Vince Scully. And so that's going to take some getting used to.
Well, if it does anything to shut the cowboy up on Cincinnati's broadcast, then I'm fine with it. As he references himself as the cowboy several times.
So you didn't watch the Pirates broadcast?
I got back in time to see some of the Pirates broadcast, yes. But I was listening to the Reds broadcast on SiriusXM, and I was laughing.
The only thing that's worse than the cowboy is when he worked with Tom Brenneman, who always called him cowboy.
Yeah. Oh, those two.
Cowboy, what do you think about this pitch?
Those two were in their own little world.
Yeah.
And they didn't like outsiders in that world, my friend.
I don't want to put the cowboy in Tom Brenneman's world, though. That's not fair to the cowboy.
Well,
now, that's not fair.
It's not.
That would be very Tom Brennan of me to do that.
Maybe.
And there's a great throw by Jordan Travis down the left sideline. It'll be his 12th touchdown of the year.
Drive. It's going to be a home run. Castellano.
I've always appreciated my friends at Magic Broadcasting and Warchant.com.
It was. I think they'll get better at it. It's an adjustment like everybody else. So that was fun. I kept thinking I'm missing something. There's no way this is universally great. Every game, just well done. Just boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom,
even as a fan, there is no looking down now away from the television. You need to stay locked in, especially in those early innings.
Yeah, the thing is, though, again, 20 seconds with the runners on base is plenty of time. You don't need more than that. Make the pitch. Let's go. Batters got used to it. You could tell that. I mean, they're
alert at 12 seconds.
Everybody's ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's go. You don't need to adjust your gloves. Your gloves are fine.
They always were. No, Mar.
Yeah, they were always fine. You never needed to step out of the box and stare at the foul pole.
Right.
10 seconds,
and if you
then back at your feet, and then at your gloves, and then back into right feet. No, you don't need to do it.
If you foul it off, you can. Magic, because you made contact. That's your reward. Okay, let's get set again.
Let's get set. Here it comes.
But if it's a ball in the dirt, stay still.
Yes, Bill, I did see Roger Clemens' frosted tips on ESPN's broadcast.
That is very unsurprising.
My man walking around with frosted tips at like 50 whatever years old. Come on, my man. First of all, at 20, you look like an ass with frosted tips. But this guy.
I was just hanging out at Woody Page's house in Colorado last week. Were you, Roger? Yeah, sounds about right.
That's so good. Well done. P. Simpson always. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Some FSU football talk here in a second.
Car accident? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
Whitten Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Whitten's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Whitten Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Whitten Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at whittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Did you know that when you order food delivery through third parties like Uber Eats and Bite Squad, local restaurants lose up to 30% of their own revenue, and you're actually sending your money to corporate bank accounts in California? Well, now you can truly support our locally owned restaurants by ordering directly from foodiestakeout.com. Choose from delicious options like El Jalisco, Smitty's Tap House, Hangar 38, Jerry's Cafe, and many more. With Foodies Takeout and Delivery, we can actually put our money where our mouth is. Order your next fresh meal today at foodiestakeout.com.
Siri, tell me a joke.
The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
At Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like soaking in a hot tub with all that steam. And it has lots of great health benefits, too. Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas is your true hot tub headquarters. Save today on the hot tub of your dreams at prices you can afford. Come and shop our 12,000 square foot showroom and find the right model for you. With over 50 hot tubs in stock, you're sure to find the one that's just right. And for a limited time, take advantage of a free spa cover with purchase of your new hot tub. That's around a $400 value, completely free with your purchase. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come see us at 2473 Greer Road. Pick out your hot tub and enjoy your free cover. You'll be glad you did.
This is Ken Wondergem, owner of Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, serving North Florida and South Georgia for over 20 years. And I'm happy to announce that things are finally back to normal at Gem Mazda. Our lot is loaded with brand new Mazdas for the first time in 2 years. So if you've been waiting for the price and selection of new cars to return to normal, the wait is over at Gem Mazda, where we've always provided our customers with the highest quality of service and care. You know Mazda's reputation for efficient, dependable, and affordable vehicles, but you simply must experience the luxurious new lineup of 2023 Mazdas in stock now at Gem Mazda of Tallahassee. Get adventurous and connect with nature in a brand new 23 Mazda CX-50 with all-wheel drive. But hurry in while the value of your trade is still high. At Gem Mazda, we take our slogan seriously. No games, no gimmicks, just a gem of a deal. Gem Mazda of Tallahassee, Capitol Circle Northwest, just up from West Tennessee Street, and always open at gemmazda.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And now Florida State football, which is what we'll get into. Now, yesterday you were there covering along with Ira and Aslan. I don't know who else was there.
The triumvirate.
The triumvirate was there. Okay, that's good. And you said it was a good day for the receivers.
Yeah.
I want to start with that. I feel like that's going to be fairly consistent. They're scrimmaging tomorrow. For those that don't know, just a reminder, they're scrimmaging tomorrow. First of all, I got to do this. I do it every year. Every year we've had a spring scrimmage or a spring game, which is every year I've been on the air. Then I've always said right before these scrimmages happen, all I really care about is that those scrimmages begin and end with no injuries whatsoever. That's the quickest way to have that hope just evaporate when you find out that a critical player is hurt in a scrimmage. It pisses you off. It concerns you. But it's football. It's the nature of the beast. I get it. Just knock on wood. No problems tomorrow, boys. Get after it. Physical game. Don't want you to be soft. Just hope everybody is all right after tomorrow's scrimmage.
So Coach Norvell said after practice was over in regards to Jordan Travis that he will participate tomorrow, but it sounded like he'll still be limited.
Very minimal.
Yeah. So I found that interesting. So the other quarterbacks will get some run.
Get it on, man. We wanted to expedite that. We did. We talked about it.
But yesterday's group was led by Johnny. Johnny was unbelievable yesterday. Some of the catches that he made. Early on, he made a catch, and that was, the rule. If you see somebody in trail coverage, what do? You throw it right by his ear.
Mm-hmm.
Great throw there, but then Johnny had to kind of twist his body to make the catch and then pull it in before he got hit in order to be able to secure the play. That was one. The early 11-on-11, they had a deep shot. They had 2 or 3 deep shots yesterday, intermediate routes, underneath routes, tough catches going to the ground. He was just phenomenal yesterday.
He does a good job of stacking, where he gets guys on his hip, and you're in trouble. Now I've got you stacked. You got to come over me.
I thought Jordan was excellent for the bulk of practice. Defense responded very late. Mike Norvell said after practice that there were dominant stretches both ways, kind of implying that it was even. I read it as more that the offense, especially on the skill side of things, was much better for most of the day, which is good.
Yeah.
Because the defense owned Tuesday.
Dominated Tuesday, yeah.
And they had a good scrimmage against the offense. So that it's a good response from the offensive side. But Jordan hardly ever gets confused. And they're throwing a lot of wrinkles at him, and he just knows where to go with the football. And his internal clock, that's something that there's a non-contact jersey on, so you can't make a full assessment. But his internal clock and pocket presence, to me, appears to be at another level, which is really dangerous. If you've got a guy like that who is as elusive as he is in the open field as a runner, starts to have those movements in the pocket where it's just a subtle step to the left.
Yeah,
climb
the
up to
comfort
top.
level in the pocket with no thought of taking off.
It might be part and parcel to a better offensive line.
I think partly that is it. He got real comfortable last year too, though, even with just a good offensive line. Yeah.
But you give that guy with all those skills that he has and the increased ability to throw the ball all over the field, good pocket presence and awareness, man, he's just a nightmare to play.
By the way, this weekend, we keep talking about this improved offensive line and how that improves the skills of everybody else, or at least allows them to be showcased. This is a weekend for defensive line recruits and offensive line recruits, big-time guys coming into town. I don't dwell a lot on this show on recruiting for next year's guys when we're so hyper-focused on this year's team, but they continue to get big-name kids, 4- and 5-star kids, to come here in the trenches, and they also have a really high-profile wide receiver, an elite wide receiver coming to town. Just you're seeing the progression of what happens when you win, because it's not just the winning. The winning's big. The winning is first and foremost, all the winning you can do. But when you win, somebody gets interested, so they decide to add you to the list of places they'll show up to. They go to that, and then they get to see the thing that we celebrate most, which is Mike's greatest strength, which is interaction with players, interaction and expectations of players, interactions with recruits. He's an asset. He's a huge asset if he can get across from them. The biggest problem he had, we all know it, to document again, was he got here, had no relationships in the state of Florida. COVID happens, can't build relationships in the state of Florida, can't talk to coaches, can't get down there and get to know these coaches. Nobody on his staff, the route he chose, or very few on his staff, had great relationships in the state of Florida. And then they started losing. So the team was bad. COVID, losses, it all amounts to you're not going to get good players from the state, from the South, to come visit you. Now you win 10 games, have high expectations, preseason chatter of top 10 ranking, and look who's coming. All of them, all of these elite players are coming. Well, if you're an asset, that is to say that whatever your message seems to ring true to these players, both the ones you've won in the transfer portal and the ones now that you're talking to in the high school ranks, which is why we think that grade will be increased greatly. That's all the more good news for Florida State fans.
Then I'll pivot to a freshman who stood out yesterday, and it was Hakeem Williams.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey! Welcome to the team, Hakeem.
About 3/4 of the way through the practice, I remarked to Ira, I said, man, Hakeem looks like he's caught up. He's up to speed. Things look solid and natural.
He looked winded to me for the first couple weeks.
I agree.
I thought he was just tired. Yeah.
The speed of the game might have been a little much early on. And he said, well, he played well on Tuesday, too. I was not a Tuesday practice. Ira said he played well on Tuesday, too. So
here we go.
You've got a week of good practices now for Hakeem Williams, which is important. I just thought he looked very natural out there, did not look overwhelmed. There was one play. Tate had another good day, man. Tate had another good day.
Hey, Tough Love Cameron's helping Tate out a lot.
He is. Couldn't believe it. And there was one throw in particular early in 11-on-11 where, I mean, it is the equivalent of 101 on the black in terms of accuracy, velocity, and it was to Vandravius Jacobs. The throw was coming towards 19 before he was out of his break. Vandravius is already in the upper end of this roster in terms of releases and how he gets out of his routes and his
Yeah,
breaks. It's a little comeback.
Mm-hmm.
So on the one side of it, you've got an outstanding release by Vandravius. On the other side, you've got a missile that's on target and anticipatory from Tate. Just a wonderful play to watch. Later on in red zone, Tate makes 2 perfect throws for touchdowns. Again, red zone drills, so you're close to the end zone by nature. One to a walk-on, one to Rodney Hill. They had to be perfect. They had to be on time. They were.
Good.
Each of the quarterbacks, I think, yesterday had some excellent throws. But overall, I think the offense was the one that controlled the day. Ja'Kai Douglas had a very good first half of practice as well in blocking drills early on against, he's working against slot corners and safeties, so that's not too tall, too large of a task for him. And then also in some of the routes he had a 4th down catch in a situational drill, and then he caught a touchdown against Greedy Vance, who's been a tough mark in camp, a tough guy to beat. Absolutely dusted him with a cool release, and very fluid looking was Ja'Kai Douglas yesterday. Mike Norvell shouted praise for a few players. I noted that. Ja'Kai was one of them. Omar Graham was another. His nickname is OG. That's what Mike calls him.
They want Omar Graham to take a big step forward now. They want him to be a third linebacker that they can play a lot and trust. We'll see. I don't know if he will or he will not. I'm rooting for him too, because they need a third linebacker that they can trust. I don't think Lundy is that. He might, but I don't.
He's been okay this game.
That's exactly right. So I think you need another guy that you feel like play in, play out. If you played him, you would feel good about what he's capable of. They're not elite linebacker, and they will not be this year. But can they be good?
A one-off moment for a specialist at linebacker I thought was good. And again, I'm not saying that this dude has been dominant. It's just one play. But Kyle Morlock has been very difficult to cover.
Yes, he has.
Camp.
He's been very good.
Brendan Gant shut down a seam pass to Kyle Morlock in a really natural-looking manner, and that was late in the day. Outstanding coverage from Brendan, who is, you would think, size-wise and athleticism profile-wise, he's naturally suited to defend a guy like a Kyle Morlock or a slot.
He's one of the great surprises.
Yeah.
So you think about they move him from safety and put him at linebacker. That is akin to basically your last shot. And he not only doesn't get pissed about it and sulk. A lot of guys do. Feel like they're playing out of position. They're going to get exposed. They're frustrated. It's not why they came here. All that stuff. No, not only does he not sulk, he gave you some positive play last year. He turned out to be a pleasant surprise. If he continues to emerge on that front, he plays physically. He's tough. Okay. Is he going to be elite? Nope. But can he be somebody that you trust? Yeah, I think in that situation, that's probably true. Yeah.
See a question from Kajana in the chat about Winston Wright. You've been to enough practices. How's he looking? I think solid.
Yeah, solid's about the answer there.
Right.
I think they're taking that really slow.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with what you've seen out of Winston Wright. It's not like the fall where he was clearly hobbled and, it wasn't going to work. It's better than that. But if you're talking about difference makers or guys who jump off the page, I think Kentron's had a much better camp in that regard. And Vandravius has been consistently very good and surprisingly explosive.
Vandravius is the story of spring. I would think that's an accurate statement. He's the story of spring. Well,
yeah, Daryl Jackson and he.
But beyond the Vandravius is more surprising than Daryl Jackson, because Daryl, of course, played last year for Miami, and we know what he is physically. Just got to get him to play hard all the time. But in terms of a freshman walking in here with what was thought to be a deep receiving core and to turn heads the way that he has, goodness gracious. That's, to me, the story of camp. Now, the only other thing I'd say about the story of camp is that, again, every time you go out there, and you can never take it for granted, every time you go out there, you see the size of this offensive line and this defensive line. Like, it's just the size and the depth of that is pretty amazing. And it continues to be. So it's exciting.
A couple of guys who stood out in team stuff. I didn't watch a whole lot of the trench one-on-ones. That's typically what I do, but I've watched a lot more skill of late. But in team one-on-ones, the 11-on-11 drills, Patrick Payton was around the ball a lot. And if it's not for Jordan having that internal clock, he might have had 3 or 4 sacks yesterday.
Good.
Payton had a blocked field goal. Kicking game was strong otherwise. Kicking game by both guys. Both
Etsu out here dominating, baby.
Both of them had good days yesterday.
Good.
Patrick Payton was around the ball a lot. Joshua Farmer had an early big play or two. He had a late big play or two. And then I did, you know how the drills work. Sometimes they're staggered. So there's a 7-on-7 drill, but you're waiting for the next snap, and you can look over to the trenches and back and forth. Ayo Tafasi caught my eye quite a few times.
He's going to be, as he gets up to
Shot
speed.
out of a cannon.
He's going to be a real good player. I thought that last year when we got to look at him. I thought, okay. How'd Span do yesterday on a day where the receivers were playing well?
Fine. I'm, and that's not me trying to squeeze something out of it.
Yeah.
Like he was fine. He made a couple of good plays. There's just there's a consistency issue there. And sometimes there's some drops. Even Morlock had a drop yesterday, kind of wide open one.
Don't you say it.
Well, it's going to happen. But Deuce made a couple of good plays. If I was going to stack the receiver performances yesterday, you'd start with Johnny. You'd probably go to Ja'Kai, then Kentron and Hakeem kind of tied. Vendravius there was nothing wrong with his performance yesterday. He just didn't get a whole lot of targets. To answer your question, Ryan, Keziah Holmes is who you're referencing, right? The Penn State kid running back. He looked really good early in camp. We're not really allowed to kind of report on any kind of injuries or anything like that. But I think guys get nicked. It's football. Guys get nicked, and then what happens is if they were consistently playing at a high level, and then they've got just something minor bothering them. Let me put it this way: if you're a player that they expect to play a lot in the fall, you're a player they expect that they need you. They want you to be part of a rotation that matters in games. If you got anything wrong with you, they're putting the green jersey on you. They're calming it down. If you have a bit of soreness or a nick or anything like that, and that's the way it should be. If you got a guy if Johnny Wilson today walked out there or yesterday walked out there and said, I get this aggravation in my right hip here down around my right side, even if they were like, whoa, you all right? Can you run? Yeah, I can. It feels a little tight right now. Shut it down, man. I know you're good. I don't need you to come out here and pull a hamstring or tear a ligament of some kind, and now we're screwed. You got to have surgery, man. If you don't practice. So I think that there have been moments in this spring where guys that people ask us about who have played well will have an ailment, and they sit for 2 days, or they practice minimally for 2 days. And I just want to be careful about how we report that because, A, we're not allowed to report injury, but number two, if a guy's just sore and they want to not really have him go at it for a day, it doesn't mean he's hurt. No. Just they're being cautious. Well, and look, I mean, much of the fall last year, the running backs wore green every day, which is the non-contact jersey. That's kind of par for the course. I see a hat tip to the chat. Toafili did have a good day yesterday, Lawrence Toafili.
Good.
Backs, I thought Rodney and Lawrence both had nice moments. Rodney's day ended with a fumble, which I haven't seen a whole lot of. I know that there's been questions in the chat about does he have an issue with that. I haven't seen one. I don't know about you, but there was a fumble late in the going yesterday by Rodney. Lawrence had a couple of really nice runs back-to-back in a setting where it was basically like a live drive, and it moved the chains. Actually, they forgot what down it was at one point, which was kind of confusing when you're taking notes. But I thought they looked very good. C.J. Campbell had a couple of nice runs. It's just the RB2 question is a difficult one, Ryan. I think that's a very difficult one because week to week you might be asking your offense for something different.
Yeah, they use these guys in so many different ways. Like Toafili, for example, we all know is of that group the best at catching the pass. I mean, he's that kid. Yeah, he can do a lot of
Swiss Army knife. He's looking more decisive this year. He's more shot out of a cannon as a runner. But if you're looking for a more physical presence, then you want Keziah Holmes to be RB2 in that situation behind Trey Benson. And then Rodney Hill has a little bit of everything to him.
These are good problems to have.
It's a good problem. It's hard to say who the hell the second running back is going to be. It's Trey's show first, and then after that, I think it goes week to week.
Which was what we said about wide receiver, running back, any skill position where guys want to be maybe featured. You know, if you're here, it's tough. I mean, on a given Saturday, it could be your Saturday to shine. You could be a star in a game, and the next week you might have 4 carries, or in the case of a receiver, you might have 5 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown against Wake Forest, and then the next week turn around and have 2 catches for 22 yards. It's just there's a lot of skill here, and every matchup is different.
There was a play yesterday, involves a running back, but it was on a pass, where there's a pressure coming Travis's way. It's 11 on 11, and you don't know if he sees it, and it's well timed. It's not one of those safety blitzes that takes an extra 3 seconds before the guy even gets to the line of scrimmage. It's a good look. And Jordan just calmly dips it dunks it right over the head of the blitzers. Trey Benson is wide open, and he's got all kinds of green grass. You go, oh, man.
Yeah.
That's one where Fuller, I'm sure, goes, son of a, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to have so many options at so many positions. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV on a Libations Friday. Hang in.
This is meteorologist Michael Carroll with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Well, sunny to partly cloudy skies for this afternoon with highs reaching into the lower 80s. For tonight, partly cloudy, some patchy fog late and 64. Then a chance for showers and storms on your Saturday. We're headed up to a high of 86 degrees. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now it's 64.
So let's say you're considering buying a new home in the current climate. We've all heard that demand is high, inventory is low. So how do you get a leg up on the rest of the buyers all making offers on the same house as you? Oh, that's a toughie. But the first place I'd suggest you start is with a call to my friend Shannon at Legendary Home Loans. Shannon will set you up with a complete pre-approval underwriting. This used to be an upgrade, but nowadays it's got to be standard. You want to get your offer on a new home pushed to the front of the line, you need a TBD full underwriting approval from Legendary Home Loans. You'll shorten or even remove your financing contingency, and the sellers will know that your offer is real and ready to go. It's tough out there these days, folks, so why not have the advantage of a proven winning team in your huddle? Get pre-approval underwriting from my friend Shannon with the one and only Legendary Home Loans. Call now, 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 2270146.
We understand how important it is to have transportation you can rely on. So no matter what the road ahead brings, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at ffbic.com.
This is Rusty Hunt with Florida Farm Bureau Insurance. Please call me today at 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
Bob, you just got to take the pain in your foot seriously. You got to take it seriously. When I watched that doc, I got so mad. He's playing soccer barefoot, as he often did. Reports excruciating pain in his foot. They're like, well, you should get it checked out. He doesn't want to go to the doctor. It's cancer. He's dead. Yeah, man. Go get checked out. That's everybody. I don't want you to be a hypochondriac, but if you're walking around with constant searing pain, go get checked out. You got to get some help. It's just an aside. You ever do that? You're watching something and then you find out early on the fall and why it's going to happen, and you've seen the evidence. Whether I'm not even talking about illness, I'm just talking about anything that happened where you know it's inevitable because this one thing's been set in motion. You're like, no, it's so easy. Fix it.
All tragic plays that have ever been written in the classics.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't do that.
No, you know what this is going to do?
You're going to die.
This is
Don't die.
Yeah, you can see it coming. Florida State does go on the road against Miami. I don't know, man. This has been tough. They're 12-12, 3-6 in the ACC right now. I will tell you this: if you look at Miami, if you're wondering to yourself, well, what is Miami? Miami's weird. They've had a ton of comeback wins this year, first and foremost. Secondly, they don't pitch either. Like, we don't pitch at all, really. But they don't pitch all that well either. So, maybe you can hope, right? Miami's team ERA, if you're wondering, pitching staff, 5.42.
All right.
Ours is 5.29. We pitch better than Miami.
We're better than they are.
Well, that is a very, simple stat. It's not all the stats, but we walk more than they walk, meaning our pitchers walk more hitters than their pitchers walk. We love to give you opportunities now. As I said last week, of the 30 runs Virginia scored in the 3 games, 15 of those guys were put on base via the walk or hit batter. So here you go. Here's a gift around every turn. You're going to have your opportunities. We'll be sure of it. So, you combine walking the world with not picking up the baseball. That's a toughie. That is, as I say, a toughie. We've committed 32 errors.
We're like De Niro with the $100 bills and Goodfellas. There you go, kid. All right.
Yeah.
Go give me a refill, will you?
Yeah. Oh, man. There's an example of what you're talking about. Walking in a fur coat. You're like, oh, my Lord, my man, you're dead. Like, this is a chance you're dead, and so is she.
He explicitly asked you not to do that.
That's the first thing he said.
If there's one thing you couldn't do,
it was that. You can't do that. And he's smiling ear to ear as they walk in. You're like, if I pass with that cigarette, you're like, oh, no, this is not good. You're a dead man.
All right, it's the Sopranos. Let it go. Stop making comments about the horse. Tragic. Don't keep on it.
Oh, man. So we shall see. There will be no Wyatt Crowell this weekend. Link Jarrett said this week in his weekly press conference. I'm going to tell you now, there won't be any Wyatt Crowell next weekend. Just get used to no Wyatt Crowell. If you're listening to me now, just stop asking. Get used to no Wyatt Crowell. Hope ain't walking around that corner. There's nobody coming to save this team. The guy even on their roster that could help them out is not coming to help them out. So, buddy, this is going to be a close call when it comes to getting into the postseason. I've now really begun.
Would you take a close call right now?
Oh,
I would.
I would absolutely take a close call. Because I think you might be willing to bet right now they're not going to a regional. I mean, that's kind of where we're getting.
That's probably minus 220 if there's no Wyatt Crowell around that corner.
There isn't. So this is
our concern, dude.
You know what makes me laugh? If you go to Seminoles.com and you look at the baseball page and you try to find like the rotation and who's going to be pitching for the week, like often you'll just see TBA. Whole lot. Now, not tonight. You got Baumeister tonight. You know he's pitching. And he can be effective. Can be. Not always, but he can be effective. When he's right, he's good. So you get, go get you this one. Go get you this one here today. Get this one tonight. Because after that, it is truly, we'll see. Who else do we have to use tonight in order to try to get this win?
That's correct.
Which will help determine
Go
the
for
TBA.
broke on a Friday,
yeah.
and then try and club your way.
You just
to
steal
a
one
2
on
out
a
of 3.
Sunday. You try to steal one on a Sunday and win a series. The guy that we're facing, or we're supposed to face on Sunday for Miami, Alejandro Rosario. Yeah, he of the near 10 ERA Rosario family. So can you find a way to win tonight? Take your ass kicking tomorrow with TBA against Gage Zeal And then
and a whole bunch of shaboopy
and
on
then
Alejandro.
then you win 11-10 over Alejandro. Come on back with a series win. Here we go. This is the type of year I make light of it in these moments because sometimes it's people will be like, why don't you get mad? Why aren't you upset? Look, man, it's again when somebody shows you who they are, you're not going to continue to wonder who they are. You know who they are at that point. There's no sense in relitigating this. This is not a good baseball team. They've had injury woes. They're starting to get over some of those injury woes, but they're not great. And they really struggle to pitch. That doesn't change because I want it to. That's not going to change next Saturday and the Saturday after. You're not going to be like, well, I was thinking about it, guys. We haven't been very good. We haven't been very effective on the mound. But I feel like it's going to change this weekend. Why? Well, I just do. I just do. I really feel that way. Why? What evidence do you have that suggests that? Absolutely none. It's just a feeling, something I got inside of me. I've played that game with the Pittsburgh Pirates rotation for years. Maybe tonight he'll pitch well. He's 1-7 with a 6.84. Tonight's his night. He's feeling it. Clipping the corners tonight, Tommy. Clipping the corners tonight. Why would you believe that? This offense leads MLB. Not tonight. Painting the black. Yeah, you do it. You try to give yourself a belief because baseball's weird. It does happen.
They call them dot matrix tonight.
So when you know that they're not good, sit down with the understanding that they're not good.
Yeah, and pivot over on ACC Network Extra to softball as they play Georgia Tech for 3. Georgia Tech has 2 conference wins. There you go. Little sweepity-doo. Secure a top 8 national seed, and there will be regional and super regional baseball in Tallahassee. It'll just be over at Joanne Graff. Not at Dick Hauser, but that's okay. That's okay. You just want these weekends, about 2 months from now, to be littered with a lot of Knoll Diamond sport coverage. And softball is going to take care of business.
The oddity is if you get into the postseason, we know how odd is baseball. Baseball is a weird game. And you can find ways to beat teams that you have proven not to be better than over the course of a lot of data, right? Over a lot of data points, right? Like, these 40 games prove we're not as good as that team. But we don't have to judge against 40 games. We're in the dance. We play them tomorrow. Can you be better than them tomorrow? Because if you can be better than them tomorrow, you put yourself in a position to move on. And that's the thing about a truncated postseason, which is what all postseasons are. And especially in baseball, but I mean, it's a lot of it fairer in Major League Baseball when it's 4 out of 7. But when you get into these little rotational things, you're like, it's going to be better than you tomorrow. So I don't know. I think that's the way you got to enter into watching Seminole baseball this year. It's tough. He's going to have to go out and really solve the problem through recruiting. I believe that he will. But it doesn't happen overnight.
What do you think is the most fair postseason in sports? Is it the NBA playoffs? The Stanley Cup playoffs?
The NBA is very fair. I mean, if you're
NBA is pretty fair.
Yeah, it's pretty damn fair.
Hockey's pretty fair too. By 7 games that it's either you get lucky or this team's better. But the luck factor,
well, especially for as long as it goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a series. You can get lucky in a series.
Right.
Couple weird, things happen.
If
You win a
lucky,
game 2-1 or something. Yeah.
If you're lucky, it's because the teams are evenly matched, not because it's a fluke.
Right. Usually, yeah.
In baseball, it could be an absolute fluke.
Oh man, yeah. It gets sawed off on, a 2-2 pitch with the game on the line and it drops between 3 people and 2 runners score. You're like, really? Okay. Completely fooled you on that pitch. You had no business. You should apologize for hitting that. Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah.
I will. With this ring.
with the win. Yeah, it does happen in baseball. It's cruel that way. Soccer's cruel, obviously. I mean, you can control the game and lose 1-0, and it happens all the time. Outshoot somebody by, that was close.
Yeah.
11 shots, 12 shots.
Right. That's a good emergency break. You're like Tiger in his downswing.
Right there, baby.
You were right there.
I locked it up.
Right
That's
there.
actually linguistically amazing.
It was.
That was remarkable.
How about tennis? I think that's pretty fair.
5 sets is real fair.
It's a bracket, so you avoid people. So maybe that's the unfair part. But I mean,
Yeah, but you earn those seeds. You earn those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't believe how close that was.
Mm.
I haven't had a close one like that in a while.
In a very,
I
very
mean,
long
years.
time.
Literally years.
Now, if this is what your mid-50s is going to be about,
No,
we
you're
got
going
to
to
make sure that we got 7 buttons around here.
No, they got to solve it through pitching. They got to. College baseball's postseason is very truncated and weird. It's difficult. But I don't really know how they're going to solve anything like that. You can have fewer teams and longer series. I've always thought you could do that.
That's not as fun.
They don't want to do that. It's also not as financially solvent. Like they want to make money off all of this. So
yeah, part of it, I really enjoy the part of it that's the regional weekend for the atmosphere, just because you have so many different fan bases. You know, if you get a good weekend where you've got, you know, an LSU, another SEC team, you've got maybe like a Virginia. I mean, I'm talking about a loaded bracket there in theory, but there are regionals that we've had in Tallahassee over the years. Last 13, I've covered it, where Alabama's been here, and those fans travel out. And then you might have like
been here, Ohio State's
Southern
been here, Georgia's
Miss,
been
and then somebody else, and it's just the parking lot is a rainbow for the first day or two. I love that part of it. I would not want to see that go. That's just kind of unique, because typically it's head to head. And when you have all these UCF, Alabama, UCF, and somebody else, I think was that year. It's just kind of cool. Everybody almost takes a shift as
You've never gone to the College World Series out in Omaha. Is that correct?
That is correct.
It's something you got to do whether we're there or not. And I'll go with you, buddy. It's been a minute since I'll gone.
Save it for the next time we go,
Which
and then we
should
can
be
go
soon.
stay at the casino in Iowa.
We will. Yes, Council Bluffs. It's right there. My buddy worked there. But I will tell you that experience is fantastic. All the fan bases that come, generally speaking, are usually really cool, and the tailgating is special, and it's a ton of baseball in a place that feels like it loves baseball. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Rainwater, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Get to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
Hi, this is Jamie McClenny from Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Managing downside risk in your portfolio is one of the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement. Trillions of dollars in stimulus from the Federal Reserve and D.C. politicians, combined with zero interest rates, have propped up financial markets since the financial crisis ended in 2009. The Fed recently ended quantitative easing and has started to raise interest rates at a time when the global economy was already slowing. Have you considered what another 50% correction in the stock market would do to your retirement plan? If you're concerned about where this all might be headed and would like to find out about the potential benefits of an active risk management strategy for your portfolio, give me a call at 850-900-5200 and schedule a time for a review of your portfolio from an active risk management perspective.
Make Jamie your first call for a second opinion. Investment advisory services are offered through Trek Financial, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Terrell Hatton, the 12-1 favorite to win the Bolero Texas Open at the TPC San Antonio. Final tune-up before next week's Masters. Ricky Fowler is 18-1. Siwoo Kim, Hideki Matsuyama, and Corey Connors all 22-1. Baseball season opens tomorrow. The Atlanta Braves, a $2.40 favorite of the Washington Nationals, plus 216. 8 under the total at Nationals Park. Max Fried for the Braves against Patrick Corbin, who went 6-19 last season for the Nationals. The Tampa Bay Rays are a $2.22 home favorite against the Tigers at Tropicana Field. 7 under the total. Detroit plus 200. Sign up now for your free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. For more sports betting news and information, go to vsin.com. Mike Son and Real Talk 93.3.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wouldn't you say it's time for a beauty refresh? Lucky for you, Ulta Beauty's 21 Days of Beauty is happening now. So treat yourself with up to 50% off bestsellers like Benefit Cosmetics and MAC Cosmetics. And say hello to new product launches from Fenty Beauty by Rihanna, Tarte Cosmetics, and so many more. That new you feeling is waiting at Ulta Beauty. But hurry, Beauty's biggest event ends April 1st. Shop in-store, online, or try curbside pickup today. Ulta Beauty, the possibilities are beautiful.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. Not this is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
The weather is unpredictable and can cause issues around your home. Weston Trawick provides commercial, residential, and industrial electrical wiring services, yearly inspections on fire alarms, portable generator cells, and so much more. With 24/7 emergency service and repair, Weston Trawick will be your calm in the storm. Give them a call at 514-0003. Weston Trawick, professional electrical services day or night. Visit online at westontrawick.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
underway yesterday. That was outstanding. Next week, the Masters. Yes, we're on the eve of the Final Four.
Right.
A lot going on, man. What, 6 games left in hockey? 5?
Depending on the teams.
Yeah.
They're thereabouts. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Have you seen any of the Valero?
Yes, I caught up a little bit last night.
The greens look slow, but they look immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
They look very much like Augusta's will, just lush green without any flaws.
I can't wait to sit back and engage next week, man. That's going to be a fun dynamic with fine folks from Live making their way on in, and whoever gets paired with Patrick Reed, who is universally despised.
So we've got the pool that we play in which you need to take 8 golfers for the season. Are you going to take any Live players? And that would be Cam Smith. Are you going to take Cam Smith and put him in the rotation?
Okay, so you nailed the only guy that I would take is Cam Smith, because he's just a year removed from playing real golf.
Stone cold in the majors.
Well, had to play real competitive golf instead of nonsense team golf, and had to play 72 holes, not 54 holes, and had to do all these things just a year ago, and he was dominant. So yeah, he's a guy that perhaps I would. None of the other guys, no. It's going to be interesting. That course in particular, like you can talk about all the other majors, but that course in particular is like riding a bike, right? It's like a form-fitting glove that you've always had, right? Like there are guys that can play that course, whether they've played it in the last 10 years or not, if they have a history on it, because it doesn't really require nearly as much length. So
it's a time traveling experience.
It's amazing. We watch Freddie Couples do it every year. Bernard Longer do it every year. And at the one I was at, Bernard Longer was out there like fighting well into it. I'm like, look at Bernard Longer. My man is getting after it.
Taking somebody's spot in the cut. I think it's the 4th hole he has to lay up on. He's got to hit his 3rd shot in.
Yeah, it's hilarious to watch. And he talked about it afterwards. He was like, yeah, they play a different game here than I do now, but I can still play here. It's just the precision that's required when you don't have the length. You have to hit to the exact right spot so that you can chip up. And, you got a 1-putt on a couple of these holes that you can't make. You can't reach to have a birdie try.
Yeah. I think it was the par 3 4th. It's 230. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna hit 180. And I'm gonna chip up. Well, that's what you see at your Muni. But then he'll shoot 74. You're like, all right, Bernhard,
he's right there.
You got a plan, and you stick to that plan.
Well, hell, Zach Johnson won the thing playing Bernard Langer golf.
That's right.
Just laying up on every par 5, wedging his way up there and making the putt. You're like, okay, look at you.
In some, 13, you can't do that anymore. But for 15, that's really smart because 2 or 3 of those pin positions are tabletops. And you just see these guys hitting, 5-iron in or 3-iron in, and it bounces right near the hole. But here you go. Now you're on that back slope on 15. You got an impossible chip with the water long.
You know how we've seen it with certain sports, but ESPN and other networks, in order to save money, won't send their guys. You can't do that at Augusta. You can't do that at certain other places. But they've done it in certain sports where they won't send. So the play-by-play man and the color analysts are not at the stadium. And no matter how good the technology is, you can always pick up on it. Like, oh, they're not there. He's not there. Like when you watch a college football game and they don't send him. It's a night game out west or something. They're like, dude, you're in Bristol. You're sitting in Bristol watching this game. They try to make the backdrop look like it's, but you can tell. And I hate it. I hate it because I think it affects the broadcast. I think it's terrible.
Well, it does. And what they'll do real quick is they'll send a spotter to physically be there. But that doesn't require equipment beyond, you got a connection.
Right. Yeah, they're just doing it to save money.
But the spotter, it's not an instantaneous message being relayed down the line. And it's not holding up a cue card that you could see, which a spotter would do often and say, look, here it is. I'll write it down on a whatever. So that 1 to 2 second delay, you can feel it in the broadcast when they sound like they don't know whether it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 3.
It also affects the natural flow and energy that comes from having witnessed something in person and what the stadium's reaction was. So, that's Kevin Harlan is so good because in the moment, my man is a fan who's just really knowledgeable and very adept at concisely telling you, and also in a manner that is excitable, what just happened.
Who was it that beat Virginia? Was it Furman in the first round of the NCAA tournament?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see the video?
Oh, it's awesome.
Because he does an arm bar
grabs the
over
arm.
Stan Van Gundy
Yeah,
and,
well,
and
Van
the third
Gundy's
man
just
on the
sitting there in
team.
shock looking around.
But Van
He's
Gundy's
like,
amazing.
What's happening? Yeah.
It looks like that UFC animation that you see. Where, the stunned look.
Yeah.
But it's like the arm bar that Harlan, it's my call. I got it. You sit tight.
He kills it, though.
He
It's
does.
such a good call there because they can't believe the kid throws the ball away. He's like a 60-year senior. He just chucks it to the rafters. Like, what are you doing? And then he gives the, it's a turnover to the pass. 4-3. Yeah, you're like, it all happens so quickly. All right, why do I bring this up? Well, this is why I bring it up. I read this morning, and I just thought to myself, man, you know how often I get on Bob nutting about the Pirates and the cheapskate that he is, right? Well, here's the deal. Like, his chintziness is not forgivable.
You're going to get questioned if he dies by questionable means.
Fine, come question me. His family will be appalled when they show the video. Look, we've ruled him out. He is, I hate to tell you, we'll show you the video, very excited about your father's death, but but he didn't do it. He's in Tallahassee and he's not crazy. Here, listen to this. Angels, this is nuts. Angels owner Artie Moreno, okay? You remember when Artie took over, he was willing to spin to make a splash, and Artie brought in, obviously, Albert Pujols, and they overpaid him, and he knew, hey, look, on the back end of this deal, we're going to get screwed, but it's going to be good for us for the next 4 years and all of that, and I kind of agreed with him at the time, even though we thought Albert might be 57 years old.
Chasing records is
Right.
actually lucrative for a franchise.
Right, all of that.
57 years old or otherwise.
Yeah. So anyhow, Artie Moreno, his net worth is $4.1 billion.
About 1/3 of Steve Cohen.
That's correct. His net worth is $4.1 billion. Billion. He chose before this season, in order to save money, worth $4.1 billion, not to send the broadcast team on the road this year. So all the Angels road games will not feature a broadcast team that's there in attendance. So I started looking, and I wanted to see, this has been documented. It will save him roughly $200,000 for the entirety of the season.
God.
So my man, net worth $4.1 billion, won't send the broadcast team on the road so he can save $200,000.
Which is 3 pitches of 1 inning from Shohei Ohtani this year.
It costs him his dignity and the loyalty of a fan base, but hey, good on you saving $200,000.
Meanwhile, my guy in New York, old Steve Cohen, who I was shortchanging, literally $17.4 billion is what this guy's worth. He's sitting with the super fan group, the 7 Line Army, yesterday out in right center of the Marlins game. He went on the road with them, and he's on video saying, "This is great. It's way better than where I sit. I'm going to sit with you guys more often."
Oh, there it is. How does somebody not? I always wonder this. Like Artie, I don't know Artie Moreno, but I mean, you would think somebody has his ear, is able to talk to him about things, right? He hires people to do it. How would you not say to him in that moment, you can't do that. We're going to have to save money other ways. This is not a good. First of all, it's bad for the product. You know, like we sell this broadcast, we make money off this broadcast. You know, this is you can't do that. And then you're going to, if you just want to scream to the masses that you care very little about this franchise and only about money, then you're going to do so here, resoundingly so. And my man, we can do it other ways. We can raise ticket price. We can do other things. You can't do this.
Already just take 4 fewer flights a year on a private jet to go get breakfast in that place you really love in the heartland of the country. And we're covered. We'll get it delivered.
$200,000. He's worth $4.1 billion. Doesn't want to send him. Won't send him. Are they going to do the, it reminds you of the minor league teams. Bull Durham. He holds the stick up. And there's a drive. Yeah. But it's ridiculous. By the way, I would have loved to have done that. I mean, that's perfect for a storyteller. Like if you could have been an old minor league play-by-play guy, and you're sitting there, crack. How real can you make the sounds? How good would you get at it? You can make up. I mean, obviously you don't know, so you can say anything. And now it's juggled.
I just want to, have a few seconds of silence to be able to shout, base hit!
Yeah.
That's just always seemed like the most fun thing to call across sports. It's not a goal. It's not a touchdown. It's just the wonder that you hear in any number of TV or radio guys' voices when they say base hit, when you've got runners on second and third and the winning runs at second base. It's just, I love the sound of that.
The idea, the simplest and the most fundamental idea of play-by-play involves following the ball, right? So what I think is amazing and what's fun to listen to, and it doesn't matter if it's a broadcast of La Liga or whatever it is, right? Any sport, right, where there's a ball involved. The person that has mastered the ability to capture the intensity or the violence or the thrill or whatever it is in that moment that you're seeing transpire, right? You've got to relay that to the listener who's just driving down the road, can't watch it, right? And yet does it while weaving. So he or she is weaving these descriptors, hopefully ones that make sense. Obviously, that you have to have a lexicon and be able to instantly recall it as you watch it, but to do so as you're also noting where the ball is. So it's interwoven, is incredible. You can even allow for space. You can even allow for silence in between all of that. But you're right. I think baseball probably more than most. Like basketball doesn't lend itself to it.
No, because you don't have time when the ball is in the air to say, and it's up in the air.
No, right, yeah.
With baseball, the ball is hit in play, and you don't know. Somebody can prevent it from doing what it needs to do if you need a 2-run rally in the 9th inning. And then also the traveling of the home run. It's just the wonder of
There's time.
Back in the gap, way back, looking up. Oh, my God, he did it. Like, they don't say that, but that's what their voice is telling us. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He just did that.
Walk-offs like that. And if you know it off the bat, now that can get risky, but if you know it off the bat, you don't have to follow the ball.
Oh, well, John Sterling has whiffed on a few of those.
John Sterling sucks. So, it's not surprising. But
did you see the Renfroe catch last night?
It's the most incredible thing ever. And I've watched it several times, and I still don't know how the ball got into his glove.
So speaking of great calls, I might try and download it and play it for later. It's Wayne Randazzo who's on the call. I know that name because he used to call stuff for my ball club on the radio. It's awesome. He's like, what in the world?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. For those that don't know, the catch that Renfroe makes, he misplays the ball. It's a line drive. First of all, it's a tough play. It's a line drive, and he turns and guns it to the wall. He knows that it's probably going over his head, but he's also on the wrong path. He's not aligned where he can make the play. And the last second he looks and realizes that his back is to the baseball, and he just sticks his glove out, left-hand glove, out like that. It's a no-look catch. It's a no-look catch.
It's a stab in the dark.
It's truly a stab in the dark. It's one of the better catches you'll see, and it is seemingly quite by accident, but you got to give the man credit. It is unreal.
And Ohtani's reaction is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. He kept, what? I mean, that ball's a double. That is going to be a double. You got to be kidding me. But, yeah, you watch that catch. And this is the thing. I mean, you get that in baseball. You get something every day where you go, oh, my God, I've never seen that. That's Kirchen brings it up all the time. But he's right. Every time you watch a bunch of baseball games, you're like, I've never seen that. That is nuts. That just happened. Yeah, go look it up. Hunter Renfroe's catch in the Anaheim game last night is silliness. And not a catch. I've seen catches where you're just like gobsmacked, but this is on a whole nother level. He just throws his hand out.
It's unique. It's unique. You've never seen anything like this before.
Jeff Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Trucking accident? Call Basic Brooks Law Offices, 777-7777.
At Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas, it's prime time hot tub season. And after a long, stressful day, there's nothing like soaking in a hot tub with all that steam. And it has lots of great health benefits, too. Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas is your true hot tub headquarters. Save today on the hot tub of your dreams at prices you can afford. Come and shop our 12,000 square foot showroom and find the right model for you. With over 50 hot tubs in stock, you're sure to find the one that's just right. And for a limited time, Take advantage of a free spa cover with purchase of your new hot tub. That's around a $400 value, completely free with your purchase. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come see us at 2473 Greer Road. Pick out your hot tub and enjoy your free cover. You'll be glad you did.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old Funny Paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like ABC Flooring, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, Krispy Kreme, or Keith Lawson Services, providing professional services and maintenance for your home's most critical systems for over 39 years. If you need air conditioning, heating, or plumbing repairs, you will receive an upfront written quote, and the job will be done on time by the area's most advanced, highly trained professionals. Keith Lawson Services, Florida license CMC 125456 and CFC 1429-197.
Let's be honest, we all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Is your prostate secretly being destroyed without you knowing it? All the ads for these prostate pills like Super Beta Prostate, Saw Palmetto, ProstaStream, Prostagenics, and others want to know which pills work and which are garbage? Now you can. Get a free copy of the new guide, Prostate Secrets, that pulls back the curtain on the prostate pill industry. Learn what is really in these pills. Which pill has over 987 adverse event reports filed against it with the FDA? It's shocking. Learn the one food to avoid that is a prostate killer, and discover the 3 so-called health foods that destroy your prostate. Get your free copy at prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com. This free guide will show you how to end your prostate problems without drugs or surgery, 5 important things to do to protect your prostate, and much more. Warning, this guide is controversial and may be offensive to some readers as it pulls no punches. So go to prostatesecrets.com, prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Hey, this is Dr. Ryan Finn at Finn Chiropractic. If you have a pain in the neck, bring them to Finn Chiropractic because neck pain, low back pain, headaches, numbness, and tingling can make your significant other or family member very irritable.
This is Dr. Shannon Lord. We developed the Phenomenal Health Exam to get to the cause of your problem. You can schedule your appointment at finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
Whether the pain is in your neck or someone else's, come to Finn Chiropractic.
Because your chiropractor loves you and there's nothing you can do about it.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
The defensive back.
I'm mixing up all the players that are new to the roster. Silly me. The offensive lineman from Auburn.
Quindarius had a PBU on Johnny yesterday, one of the few.
I like Quindarius.
It is an impressive body type for that position.
I was just thinking about the size of the offensive line that we have and how exciting that is. And I thought about how last night when I was flipping around to the NBA and I saw Zion looking like an offensive lineman. His fat ass wasn't going to play, and he was gigantic. I would be pissed if I were the Pelicans. I'm like, really? You're hurt all the time, and now you're just stuffing your fat face? Get it together. So anyhow, back to our offensive line.
Really quickly on Zion.
Yeah.
You know how Levitard does the looks like thing with the March Madness bracket? It's related to Zion, and it makes me laugh very hard every time. It's Booger McFarland looks like Zion Williamson, who has come back from the future to warn his former self about tax evasion. And if you look at the two guys, it is really spot on. Whoever came up with that,
That's really well done.
Epic.
Well, Mr. Jones is supposed to be big. He's an offensive lineman, and he's not Quindarius Jones. He's a freshman defensive back. But that I continue to mix. I actually combine Bendravius Jacobs and Quindarius Jones.
I do that with the first names for Vandravius and Quindarius.
I'm going to start throwing in Darion Williamson.
It's because I like them both, though. Those two freshmen are.
Yeah.
They're going to be big names for us.
So you asked him about the difference between practicing here against this defensive line and doing the same at Auburn. And the quality, I think, was inferred there, the quality of the players that you're going up against on a regular basis and what that tells you, what kind of answers you derive from that for him. And he noted that there was no difference at all, that the level of player, anyhow, in terms of talent and size is the same.
Yeah, and he did so in a way that I buy it because it was instant. It was instant.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah,
he knew what was being asked, and it was instant reaction. Oh no, this is every bit of what I'm used to seeing. And he would expound on a little bit more and say that a lot of people make a big fuss of the SEC versus other conferences. It might be the case at other ACC institutions, but not here.
Right. That was my favorite part, was that he at least acknowledges that at other ACC institutions, that's likely true. I mean, he doesn't say that, but it is. It's a lot different at other places. We're trying to get to that place where that is not true. And we think that perhaps we've reached that place. Maybe we've reached that place. Keandre Jones is, I got it right that time, didn't I? Keandre Jones is 6'3", 320, 330, whatever he is. He's huge.
Yeah, he is. And he's cerebral. Even from his newcomer interview, which happened back in January, you could just recall that when he made the choice to come here, he researched it to the hilt. He knew exactly what he was going to get himself into. He even said as much yesterday in some of the other answers. As far as player interviews go, I don't do a ton of the breakout interviews because usually we have like 9 staff members to break out and do them. This one was one of my favorite in a long time. He is a thoughtful young man. You can tell that when his playing days are over, if he wants to be a motivator and a coach, he's got whatever it is in order to be able to pull that off. But then also, he understands the nature of the question in a way that LaMarcus Joyner used to. He's like, I know where you're going, and here's what the answer is. I asked him also about Jordan Travis and what's it like blocking for a player like that. And he said he loved in his Auburn time playing in front of Bo Nix because Bo could do things to make a play even better. But he remarked on how Jordan Travis, even in the run checks that he makes and the checks at the line, they just make so much sense. He's a really, really smart player. And again, that's just cool to get that perspective from a kid who's played at a different Power 5 institution, one in the SEC.
Yeah, and Auburn wasn't good, but it wasn't like they were devoid of some talent. And, of course, in that league, you see it every week. So I think that's an encouraging answer. We've speculated that Florida State's size and depth of size and talent is nearly there with the upper crust of the SEC. And that's what you have to get to if you're going to compete for a national championship. Obviously, Georgia just won the national championship for the second time in a row. And there were many moments where we looked out on that field and we thought the difference wasn't just that they had an elite level skill player at wide receiver or tight end or running back. It was mainly that the wave of defenders and offensive linemen that they can run out there that exceed the norm or even a real high level at other institutions is really awe-inspiring. It's 165, 330 guy after the next who can move.
And he spoke to that at the end, too. Ira asked a similar question to follow up on it before the 6.5 minutes were up with Keandre. And he spoke specifically to that point, that it's about the waves of competition.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And we do possess that now. And we do so, with Braden Fisk still coming back to be 100%. Ayo Tafasi is now more and more active in practice, which is good to see. He even talked about, Keandre did, how Daniel Lyons is going to be a real player. He still makes some mistakes that a younger player will, but his instincts and his abilities are going to be next level when he matures into his college days.
It's so cool to watch when you talk to the defensive linemen. We did that last week with Farmer and have them do the same thing, assess these linemen. And they keep going. They keep going because, some of the guys we don't mention that are redshirt freshmen. Julian Armella is a redshirt freshman. We mentioned him, but he's a redshirt freshman. It's silly. They may get Dimitri Emmanuel back. He's a redshirt senior, so you have these extremes, right? But Casey Roddick is a redshirt senior, but next to Kenyatta Charlton, who's a redshirt freshman. You can keep going with guys like Early, who we don't talk all that much about, but he's 6'5", 330 or whatever he is. He's a monster. And he's young. He's a redshirt freshman. These are guys that were in the fold who have to. Darius Washington is a redshirt junior. You have a nice mix. You mentioned Keandre Jones is a junior. Estes is a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. Like, we go on and on and on. These are all 6'3" plus guys, 315 plus guys across the board. And you just make casual. Dachi Richardson, 6'5", just pulled him up. I wanted to see how tall he was. 6'5", 320. The freshman, Lucas Simmons, was he 6'8"? Yeah, 6'8".
And it looks like the learning curve is being applied. It's not that Lucas Simmons is locked down just yet, but from where he was 2 weeks ago to now, all right, this is getting exciting. George is very excited.
It is very exciting. It is really, really, really exciting because when those players after the practice talk about, you can't take a breath because after that you got this guy, and I know he's a redshirt freshman, but he's really good and he's taking a huge step forward. But then when the new guys who were at other locations like Auburn are talking about the competition and the size and the strength and the depth of that strength being the same as it was at Auburn, that's at least at the line of scrimmage, that's what I've been wanting us to get to because it makes everything else possible to skill position.
Yeah, what I was hoping he would go into a little bit more, because I was asking also the competition week in, week out in the SEC. He didn't really go there per se, but I mean, it's the SEC West. It's not like asking the same question of Casey Roddick, who is playing in the Pac. Yes, Power 5, but not all Power 5 is the same, and we all know that.
Right.
And again, it's the no hesitation in Keandre's answer that's what I was looking for. Whether it was the yes or no, I don't care. Just give me a straight answer.
It would let you know, yeah. I didn't mention Jeremiah Byers, who's 6'5", 330 pounds. He can run.
Yes, he can. Looks to be solid as a rock for us. Bless Harris, what you know about him?
Oh, man. Yeah, Bless is back from that injury, and he looks healthy again and excited, and he's 6'5", 330, so,
He'll never bulldoze you, but he's just technically very, very sound, which is all you really need.
He's he's forgotten about because of the unfortunate nature of the injury in game 1 against a nothing opponent. And I was going to start for us. I think the most revealing thing about last year was that a Turrentine could come in and play at a high level or a level good enough for us to still win games.
But that's the thing, good enough for this offensive coordinator, this offensive coaching staff in order to be able to work with. And they've worked with a lot less than what they have this spring. A lot less. And if these players individually, like if you talk about an Estes or Washington, Maurice Smith, some of the other guys, Keandre Jones is not a finished product by any stretch of the imagination, and some of the younger players as well. Like, perhaps by themselves, you're not wowed and say, this is a dominant offensive lineman. But you've got to understand that the collection of all these players together is so much more than Alex Atkins has had to work with the last few years. The baseline of what we have is infinitely higher than 2 seasons ago, and I think it's significantly higher than what we had last year.
I think it is too. I think that's really probably the overriding point. They were pretty good last year on the offensive line, and they are a lot better this year on the offensive line. That's the tale to tell.
And whether or not they were pretty good or if it was scheme, it doesn't matter. The effectiveness level was pretty good. And now I think, independent of being good at scheming things up, they might just be all right.
Exciting. Yeah, I think from the clay, the what you're molding is real. They've got talent there. Last year, Florida State blew out, I think it was 7 opponents, 6 opponents, 7 opponents. You got 2 big-time games in your first 4, Clemson and LSU and Clemson. I don't know. Do you think, there's a chance you exceed the 7 blowouts. Like you could blow out 8 teams. I mean, I don't know what Miami will be. They blew their ass out down there, but that game's here this year. Florida's on the road, and we struggled with Florida. But if you look at Florida's quarterback situation,
even their trench situation,
it's just not good.
They are depleted compared to where they were.
They have some problems.
And Anthony Richardson might go top 10 in the NFL draft after this is all said and done.
The interesting part about Anthony Richardson was we said before all of this that once he got to the combine, people wouldn't be able to help themselves.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't matter what the film told you about a 6-6 record and about an up and down uneven career, very short one at that. It's that nobody's built like that. People aren't supposed to look that way and play that position, and he does. And I'm talking about look as in size, strength, speed, athleticism, all of it.
Yeah, everything about his profile. And I remember doing the piece for the website before the Florida game and just breaking down Anthony Richardson's quote-unquote film, but the highlights of the year. And he has every throw in him. He has already proven that every throw you want out of an elite quarterback at the NFL level, he's got it. Now, the consistency part, no. But if you're looking for capability, in spades. And the other thing is a lot of these quarterbacks that you're considering after maybe the top 2 in the draft are 24, 25 years old. Like Hendon Hooker, I think is turning 26 in his
25, I think it is. Well, in the season, yeah.
He's 21. That's you got, a handful more years to develop if you want to.
He has to go to a place where they're not going to ask him to play. Like, he needs a couple of years. The Jordan Love treatment would be nice.
Right. Play if you're ready, but no need. No need. You just sit on right here. That's why I look at the top 10. I see Seattle there. Could run with Geno Smith for another year or two.
That was a great story.
And ease him on in. That's a nice situation.
Well, it's brought up. It's brought up. It's so hard with a first-round pick at that position to imagine. I mean, this happened all the time back in the day. But it is weird to sit here and be like, well, we're going to take a quarterback with the number 8 pick overall, 7th pick overall, and he's not going to play for 3 years. That is really strange. But if you think somebody's that kind of a talent, then maybe you do.
It's Josh Allen. I think that's what this is.
Yeah, physically, yeah.
Everybody's looking for the next Josh Allen. That dude was nowhere near a slam dunk when he was taken. He was a running first quarterback, and then he became this other thing. And if you're looking for somebody who fits that mold,
he's a good example.
Much like that.
The other reason he's a good example, Tom, is that not just that they're both 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds, and like they're freak athletes. Not just because they both are that, but because they were both inaccurate. And that's the other thing. It's like Josh had throws that you'd never seen before. People were like, "Oh my God, who throws the ball like that?" Well, this guy does. Problem is, he may throw it off the map at times too. He did not even complete it in one of those years that he had the big numbers. He didn't even complete 60% of his passes in that league, in that conference. So people thought, well, we've got some accuracy issues here, and it was true when he first got into the league, and then until it wasn't, until he was phenomenal, and all of a sudden he's in the conversation as one of the 3 best quarterbacks in the league. So that's why. You're a GM. You're like, well, can I afford to ignore this?
I already know that he can make the elite throw. I've just got to bridge it to be more consistent and more accurate. But like, if he had never shown that he can make the elite throws, then he's just an athlete, and that's why he wouldn't be drafted so high.
But you've seen the glimpse,
and it's all over the place. And they still couldn't beat us with that. It's unfortunate, Florida.
But we tried to let him, man. He had a good day.
He did.
Guys running wide the hell open.
Jordan was better that night.
Had to be.
He had to be, and he was.
Had to be.
And Billy lost more games than he won with that talent.
Well, I do want to take shots, but I mean, we just got done saying he was wildly inconsistent and inaccurate. So, I mean, that's not surprising.
Still college.
But he lit our ass up.
You can win 7 games at Florida with that quarterback, I would hope.
You would hope. That's why you can't lose the Vanderbilt game.
It's terribly unfortunate.
Can't lose the Vanderbilt game.
It was an excellent field goal, though, in the bowl game. That was a good job, Billy.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly sunny skies and calm this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 82. South winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 65. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Overcast tomorrow. Chance for isolated storms, high of 85. Low 80s Sunday and Monday with a chance for scattered storms Monday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 79.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing's just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hey, Greg Tish here along with
Matty Rowe.
And you can listen to us Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Real Talk 93.3. Matt, we give away a couple things each week.
Just a few.
We got the Florida Farm Bureau Insurance Wheel of Food. We have Give Me a Second, where we play a second of a song and you guess that song. And we also play FLA or Nay. We have a lot of fun Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on
The Greg Tish Show.
Think that's enough?
We could talk about our feelings.
There's a lot.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
What now?
Little Copa asks, any word on Kanaya Charlton?
Oh, in the chat. I was like, what are you referencing?
Lil Copa.
Practicing in the rotation. Probably not going to crack a job this year, but you never know. Looks to be in better shape than last fall.
That's the only thing I was going to say, is that I think he's in better shape, which was necessary. He had to get some of the unwanted weight off of him. He moves well for a guy that size. That's a familiar refrain on this show, is we frequently talk about dudes that are almost have no right to be, that fast at their size. I saw earlier in the chat, Ryan mentioned that when he was playing way back in the day, which is back when I played, you would occasionally run across a 300-pounder that could move a little bit, and now they're everywhere. And that is true. It's true. We had a guy that was a guard that played, a left guard, a kid named Cozy. I loved his name, Cozy. And Cozy was a monster, strong, and was one of the few 300-pounders that we had that could move. You could pull him and he could get out and destroy people. And it was fun watching a guy like that move. And I could not have known way back then that someday I'd be covering a team that has 12 Cozy pluses that can all get out and run and move. And all the good teams do. All the good teams do. And obviously the NFL is littered with guys bigger than that can move. It's crazy.
But even in an era with guys like that everywhere, they weren't here. They weren't here ever.
Well,
like, ever.
It felt like ever, but yeah, we had some.
If they were, they weren't athletic enough. They were that weight, but it wasn't good weight. Wasn't a good
Yeah,
320.
it's been a minute. But now it's littering the field. It's really, really impressive. And I don't know, I because of that, I spend precious little time worrying about the offense. That's the main reason.
Interesting question from Tony Greco, who basically says, I know that Dimitri Emmanuel still has an appeal and the NCAA needs to rule on eligibility, but do we actually need him? I think yes, personally.
Need or want are two different
Both.
things. I don't think we need him.
I think that kind of depth, I don't know that we have with the experience that Dimitri Emmanuel brings to the table. He was working out today at Pro Day in case of emergency, essentially, that the NCAA will not grant him another year of eligibility. Hopefully their fax machines start printing out pieces of paper so they can address the matter. But that type of experience to go along with his skill set, he's not a bad player. He's a good player.
I think he's a good player. I think he has limitations, but he's a guard, and he did a good job for us. But I don't think we need him. If we get him, it's just a luxury. I don't think we have to have him. We've got a lot of guys that I think will play to that level. I know what you're saying. I think we're saying the same thing in a weird way. He is a redshirt senior. He's played a ton of football, and you can start him, and you can trust him. But I have a suspicion one of the guys that didn't start a year ago that will be inserted into that spot will be a player that is as good, if not better.
We've got more depth, but not depth like this. And that would be my point, is if you lose a player or two, which is going to happen at a certain point in the season. I mean, it could be that Dimitri starts and he's the one that goes down. I would just, with the experience factor for that first month of the season, I'd feel a lot more comfortable with the rotation if Dimitri is a part of it.
Yeah. But that is the beauty and the luxury of having 12 guys fighting for 5 spots is, my goodness gracious. If the NCAA rules against them, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. It's not as if, I guess my point would be, it's not as if you don't play Dimitri Emmanuel, then you have to start somebody who's not ready. Like you have to start Jalen early. You don't. Even if you say, okay, if he doesn't make it or they don't allow him to play, you have to start Bryson Estes. Okay.
But if you could give me a choice
Darius Washington.
If you give me a choice between Estes, Darius, and Meach.
You like Dimitri more than you like Darius?
Yes.
You
Absolutely.
like him? You like him more than you like, let's say, Keandre Jones?
No, but Keandre will be one of the starting 5, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be at many positions because that's what he is.
He's a guard, though.
Oh, sorry, Keandre. See, now I'm doing it. I'm thinking you're talking about Byers.
No, Keandre Jones is a guard.
I like Meach more than Keandre.
Where do you like Julian Armella? Right tackle?
Yeah, I think so.
Casey Roddick, you like him at center? They're trying.
He's going to be an interior lineman, and I like it. He's a part of the 3. So if you look at the interior as a group of 3, who are your top 3? Roddick absolutely is one of those 3. I think Meach would be one of those top 3 as well, personally. The thing is,
because you like Jeremiah Byers, so
I think he might be on the outside.
Right. So I mean, we're naming 5. You feel good about. You're just talking about depth pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think if LSU Clemson was in November, I wouldn't have this big of a concern. But since it's out the gate, I want to have the most experience we possibly can have out the gate, so that there are fewer risks involved. You know what you're working with, and knowing what you're working with in week 1 is a huge advantage.
Yeah, there's no doubt if you can have a player that has started as many games as he has in college football and is that size and has worked with Alex and they can trust him and he provides that kind of talented depth, yes, you want it. You'd prefer it all day long. I just like that we're at a place that you can lose that much experience and that talent. And really, I'm not going to fret all that much because I think there are a handful of guys that you could play and feel pretty much just as good about. Or maybe whose upside's better.
I think that's the hair we're splitting. Is you'd say, okay, that's not ideal, but okay. If it came down against Meach, I would say, damn it, man. I would go all the way that far. Damn it, man.
Yeah.
I would like 71 to be a part of this.
All right. This is going to be a tough. We've made it all the way to April. Tomorrow is April. And as much as I am an eternal optimist regarding how I kind of skip through weeks and months in my mind to picture football. But baseball's going to satiate us. We're going to be all right.
Major League Baseball.
Well, hey, get ready to watch a series win this weekend. We already
That's possible. Absolutely.
We already talked about how we would do it, didn't we?
Yeah.
You got to win tonight.
Whatever it takes tonight, and then try and swat your way on Sunday to a 10.
Shaboopy your way, isn't that what you said? Right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Shaboopy here.
Shaboopy your way to
Shaboopy
a win.
Shaboopy over the Alex Rodriguez sign. There you go.
If you got a youngster at your house and he or she plays baseball, consider going over to my friends at Power Mill Training Academy there. You guys know Power Mill on Capitol Circle. Bryce used to go and hit there. They've got, if you look at the amount of people that are alumni that have gone on to play big-time college baseball and pro baseball.
When's Bryce going back?
To baseball?
Yeah.
I don't know. I beg him all the time. I do. I wish he would. He's a good player. He likes basketball more, plays basketball incessantly. And I wish the rule changes in baseball had occurred sooner. Because,
son, look how fast
look
this
at
game
the pace
is.
of
Come
the
on in here.
game. Yeah, that's been the problem for them. But they do camps at Power Mill. They do softball. They do baseball. And again, like I said, they've got a ton of experience and expertise. And they really, here's the thing. I've heard from a couple parents that they get, like, their kids could be intimidated because there have been so many good players that come back or that have gone on to play elite travel ball and do all this stuff. Yeah, but they're just going to maximize and give your player the tools they need to maximize their abilities to have fun playing baseball. Some of those kids will go on to be elite college or pro baseball players. Some will just be good little league players. That's fine too. They have a coach and they have a way of teaching and passing on those tools for every level of expertise. So it's a big deal. And they are sponsoring, of course, Probables, good sir. So let's do it.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Mets Marlins doing it again. You're lucky because my Pirates have the day off like many other teams do. I don't like when they do this, but they do it every year.
They do. The Mets have a random Friday off next week. But I would trade that all the time. Give me back-to-back days after the momentum. Why would you kill the momentum?
You're going to go watch it tonight at 6:40.
Yeah.
On Bally Sports Florida.
Yay.
It's Mets Marlins, David Peterson, Jesus Luzardo.
Advantage fish.
White Sox Astros, Lance Lynn still pitching. My God. Still pitching. Christian Javier goes for the Astros. Rockies Padres, Kyle Freeland, Nick Martinez, and D-backs Dodgers. Always sounds like we're calling them a bad name. All these years later still. D-backs will throw Merrill Kelly, and the Dodgers will throw Dustin May. I think the first time I ever saw Dustin May throw a pitch, good God, they got another guy. He's ridiculous. Guardians Mariners turned out to be a great game last night. Hunter Gaddis and Robbie Ray. There we go. There we go.
First one of the year.
Now, because we have not had the great opportunity to celebrate the return of Probables, and we have time to kill, I'm going to give you Saturday's starters, too.
All right.
What are we doing around here? What are we doing here?
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Saturday starters coming right up, everybody. White Sox Stros. Lucas Giolito. Jose, you're quitting. Blue Jays cards. Let's go Blue Jays. Kevin Gosman, Jack Flaherty. Only Flaherty. Brewers Cubs. Brandon Woodruff, Justin Steele. Phils Rangers, Zach Wheeler, Nathan Eovaldi. Braves Nats, Spencer Strider. Are you going to be on the Spencer Strider or are you going to run today? Josiah Gray. Giants, Yankees, Alex Cobb, Clark Schmidt.
What?
Schmidt.
Clark Schmidt?
Clark Schmidt.
That is from 1952.
Schmitty on the hill today. Angels, A's, Patrick Sandoval. Shinichiro Fujinami. Yes, I nailed it.
That's a new one.
It is a new one, and I nailed it. Orioles, Red Sox, Dean Creamer. Hey, now, Chris Sale. Pirates, Reds, Rich Hill. That's right. Rich Hill pitches for the Pirates, everybody. He's 57 years old. Nick Lodolo. Tigers, Rays, Spencer Turnbull, Zach Eflin. Twins, Royals, Sonny Gray, Jordan Lyles. Mets, Marlins, Tyler McGill.
Yeah, Tyler
McGill.
Should have been Verlander.
Edward Cabrera. Rockies, Padres, Jose Urena, Michael Wacha. D-backs, Dodgers, Madison Bumgarner is still pitching in the league, folks, and he's going against Clayton Kershaw.
Because he has for the last 50 years.
It's amazing. Both throw from the left side, both tall, both very talented, both accomplished. One has been pitching forever, the other just short of forever.
Right. One kind of surfs, the other bales hay. That's the only difference.
The other cuts the neck off a snake anytime he sees it.
Yep.
Guaranteed. Madison Bumgarner is cutting snakes.
With the edge of his hand.
And finally, Guardians, Mariners. That'll be Aaron Savali and Logan Gilbert. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
We're going to isolate that video clip for any time good stuff happens.
Us just dancing
to this music, which is not copyright restricted. Perfect.
We can do it. Zyler, you should check it out. You can watch MLB again. It's good. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work out of you, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Go Noles. Talk to you on Monday. Peace.